If you had a dream job offer tomorrow, would you be ready for the interview? In English?
Oh, Brian, that's a brilliant question to start with. Welcome back, everyone, to the English podcast for listening and speaking, the place where your English gets better, one conversation at a time. I'm Emily.
And I'm Brian. That question really makes you think, doesn't it, Emily? In today's global world, knowing English for your career isn't just a bonus. It's often a necessity.
Absolutely. Whether you're looking for your first job, aiming for a promotion, or simply wanting to communicate more effectively with international colleagues, mastering English related to work and career is absolutely crucial. It opens so many doors and builds confidence.
Precisely. We know many of our listeners are ambitious professionals, students, or simply people looking to expand their opportunities. And that's why we've dedicated this entire episode to Work and Career, Learn English for your professional success. We'll be diving deep into vocabulary, grammar, and real-life scenarios that you can use right away.
We're going to cover everything from job interviews and workplace communication to setting ambitious career goals and understanding those tricky business English expressions. So get ready to boost your professional English.
Before we dive into our first segment, which is all about making strong first impressions in job interviews, we have a quick favor to ask.
Yes. If you find this episode helpful, and we really hope you do, please take a moment to like, share, and comment on YouTube or wherever you're listening. Your support helps YouTube recommend us to more people, which means more learners can discover our podcast and improve their English skills. It makes a huge difference to us.
And stick around because later in the episode, we have a truly memorable conversation moment that we think you'll find both hilarious and incredibly useful. It's perfect for sharing with friends or colleagues who are also on their English learning journey. You won't want to miss it.
Trust us, it's going to be a fun one. So grab your notebooks and let's get started on your path to professional English success.
All right, Emily, let's dive into our first big topic: job interviews and making a great first impression. This is often the first significant hurdle for anyone looking for a new role. And it's where your English skills can truly shine or, well, maybe need a little polishing.
You're absolutely right, Brian. The job interview is your chance to show what you're capable of, and it can feel like a lot of pressure, especially in a second language. But with the right vocabulary and a bit of practice, you can feel much more confident.
Indeed. So let's start by arming you with some key vocabulary. These are words you'll hear and use constantly during the job application and interview process.
Excellent. What's the first one, Brian?
First up, we have resume or CV. In American English, we usually say resume, while in British English, CV, which stands for curriculum vitae, is more common. Both refer to a document that summarizes your education, work history, skills, and accomplishments. It's your professional story on paper.
So when you apply for a job, you typically send your resume, or CV. Got it. And what about a cover letter? I often hear that term too.
A cover letter is a one-page document you send along with your resume or CV. It's addressed to the hiring manager or recruiter and explains why you are interested in the specific job and how your skills and experience match the requirements. Think of it as a personal introduction, custom-made for each job application.
That makes sense. It's like your chance to make a personal connection before they even look at your experience. What about the people involved in the process?
Good question. The person applying for the job is called a candidate. So if you're looking for a new job, you are a candidate for that specific position, which is the job opening itself. And the person who initially contacts you, reviews applications, and sets up interviews is often a recruiter. They work for the company or for an agency that helps companies find new employees.
Ah, so the recruiter finds candidates for open positions. Clear. And during the interview, sometimes you don't just speak to one person, right?
Correct. Sometimes you'll face an interview panel. This means you'll be interviewed by 2 or more people at the same time. It could be your potential manager, a team leader, and maybe someone from human resources. it's important to make eye contact with everyone on the panel.
That can feel a bit intimidating, but it's good to be prepared for it. What else should we know about?
Next, let's talk about qualifications. Your qualifications are the skills, education, and experience that make you suitable for a particular job. For example, a university degree in engineering or 5 years of experience in project management would be considered qualifications for a relevant job.
So, when a job description says required qualifications, it means what you need to have to even be considered. And then, during the interview, they often ask about your strengths and weaknesses, don't they?
Yes, they do. Your strengths are your positive attributes, the things you are good at, like being a good problem solver or having excellent communication skills. When asked about your strengths, it's best to provide specific examples of how you've used them in past roles.
And the dreaded weaknesses question. How do you answer that, Brian?
When they ask about your weaknesses, they're not looking for you to list every fault. They want to see self-awareness and how you plan to improve. So a good approach is to mention a minor weakness, but more importantly, explain what you are doing to overcome it. For example, I used to struggle with public speaking, but I've been taking a course to improve, and I now feel much more confident delivering presentations.
That's a fantastic tip. It shows you're proactive and committed to personal growth. And finally, the last key word is experience.
Experience refers to the knowledge and skills you've gained from doing a job or activity over time. When you talk about your work experience, you're sharing what you've learned and achieved in previous roles. For instance, I have extensive experience in marketing, having worked on several successful campaigns.
Speaking of having worked, that brings us perfectly to our grammar focus for this segment, the present perfect tense.
Excellent segue, Emily. The present perfect is incredibly useful when talking about your work and career because it allows you to connect past actions or experiences to the present. We form it with have or has, plus the past participle of the verb.
So instead of saying, I worked in marketing for 5 years, which implies you no longer work there, you would say, I have worked in marketing for 5 years, if you are still in that field, or if that experience is still relevant to your current situation.
Precisely. It's ideal for discussing your experience in a way that shows its ongoing relevance or its impact on your present skills. For example, De I have managed teams for over 7 years, which has prepared me for this leadership position. The management started in the past and continues to be relevant now. Or, I have completed several projects in project management software, so I'm familiar with the tools you use. The projects are finished, but the experience gained is current.
It makes so much sense. It's like saying, this is what I've done, and it's why I'm ready for this role now.
Exactly. Now let's put all this vocabulary and grammar into practice with a mini scenario. Emily, you're the interviewer, and I'll be the candidate applying for a marketing specialist position.
Wonderful. I've got my serious interviewer hat on. Ready when you are, Brian.
I'm ready.
Welcome, Brian. Thank you for coming in today. To start, could you tell me a little about yourself and why you're interested in this marketing specialist position?
Thank you for having me, Emily. I'm a highly motivated marketing professional with over 7 years of experience in digital marketing and content creation. I have worked for 2 different tech companies where I have consistently exceeded targets in lead generation and brand awareness. I'm particularly interested in this position at your company because I admire your innovative approach to sustainable technology, and I believe my qualifications in digital strategy and my strong creative strengths align perfectly with your team's goals.
That's a very strong opening, Brian. You used have worked and have consistently exceeded to show continuous and impactful experience. Very good. Now, can you tell me about your greatest strengths that would make you a good fit for this role?
Certainly. One of my primary strengths is my ability to develop and execute comprehensive digital marketing campaigns from conception to completion. For example, at my previous role, I have led a campaign that resulted in a 30% increase in online engagement within 6 months. I'm also very adept at data analysis and using insights to refine strategies. I have always been a strong collaborator, which I believe is essential for a successful marketing team.
Excellent examples, Brian. It's great to hear how you apply your skills. Now, on the other side of that, what do you consider to be your greatest weakness, and what are you doing to address it?
That's a fair question, Emily. In the past, I sometimes struggled with delegating tasks effectively, wanting to handle too much myself to ensure perfection. However, I have consciously worked on this by taking a project management course, and I have started implementing new strategies to trust my team more and empower them. I now focus more on coaching and guiding rather than micromanaging, which has significantly improved our team's overall efficiency and morale.
That's a very honest and insightful answer, Brian, showing great self-awareness and a proactive approach. You use the present perfect really well there, showing how you've actively worked on that weakness. Before we wrap up, do you have any questions for me or the interview panel?
Yes, I do. Thank you. I was wondering what the typical career path looks like for someone in this position within your company, and what opportunities there are for professional development.
That's a great question, Brian. It shows your forward-thinking approach to your career. We encourage continuous learning and growth here.
And cut. That was a fantastic example, Emily. You acted as the perfect interviewer, and I hope our listeners could pick up on how I integrated those key vocabulary words and the present perfect tense naturally.
You did wonderfully, Brian. Listeners, notice how Brian not only answered the questions, but also subtly reinforced his qualifications and experience using the present perfect tense. Phrases like, I have worked for 2 different tech companies, or I have consciously worked on this, are perfect ways to discuss your past in a way that connects to your current skills and future potential.
Remember, practice makes perfect. Try to use these words in the present perfect tense when you're talking about your own professional journey. Think about your resume or CV and how you would describe your experience.
Yes, think about what strengths you would highlight and how you would phrase a weakness that shows growth. The goal is to sound confident and competent, even when discussing challenges.
Exactly. Mastering the job interview is about more than just knowing the answers. It's about presenting yourself clearly and confidently in English. And these words and grammatical structures are your tools for doing that.
We hope this segment gives you a stronger foundation for your next interview. Coming up next, we're going to move beyond the interview and into the day-to-day realities of workplace communication. You won't want to miss it. Welcome back, everyone. We just talked about making a great first impression in job interviews. Now, let's move beyond getting the job and think about what happens when you're actually in the workplace. This next segment is all about workplace communication.
That's right, Emily. Once you're in the door, effective communication becomes incredibly important. Whether you're interacting with colleagues, managers, or clients, clear and polite English is essential for professional success.
Absolutely. It's not just about what you say, but also how you say it. And the workplace has its own specific language and common scenarios. So let's dive into some key vocabulary for workplace communication.
First up, a very common term, meeting. A meeting is a planned discussion where people come together to share information, make decisions, or solve problems. You'll have many meetings in your career.
Yes, and often before a meeting, you'll receive an agenda. An agenda is a list of topics to be discussed during a meeting. It helps keep the meeting focused and ensures all important points are covered.
Very true. Having an agenda makes a meeting much more productive. And speaking of sharing information, you might need to give a presentation. A presentation is a formal talk given to an audience, often using slides or visual aids to explain or present information.
Right. Like presenting your quarterly sales figures or a new project proposal. Now, let's talk about something everyone in the workplace deals with. A deadline. A deadline is a specific time or date by which a task or project must be completed. Missing a deadline can have serious consequences.
Indeed, it's crucial to understand and respect deadlines. Another important aspect is feedback. Feedback is constructive criticism or advice given to someone about their work, performance, or behavior intended to help them improve. Both giving and receiving feedback professionally is a key skill.
And to get things done effectively, you often need collaboration. Collaboration means working together with others to achieve a common goal. It's about teamwork, sharing ideas, and supporting each other.
Excellent point, Emily. Collaboration is key in most modern workplaces. Sometimes, however, you'll need to engage in negotiation. Negotiation is a discussion aimed at reaching an agreement, especially in business. This could be about project timelines, resource allocation, or even salary.
That's a high-level skill, Brian. And then there's the simple but powerful polite request. This isn't one word, but it's a concept that involves using specific language to ask for something respectfully, which is what we'll focus on with our grammar.
Yes, we'll get to that. Finally, we have follow-up and proposal. A follow-up is an action taken to ensure that an earlier action has been effective or to maintain contact. For example, a follow-up email after a meeting.
And a proposal is a formal plan or suggestion, often written, put forward for consideration or discussion. You might write a project proposal or a business proposal.
Great. So we've covered a good range of vocabulary there. Now let's move on to our grammar focus for this segment, which is directly related to making those polite requests. Modal verbs for politeness.
This is so important, Brian. In English, especially in a professional setting, we often use modal verbs like could, would, may, and might to soften our requests and make them sound more polite and less demanding.
Exactly. Imagine you need a colleague to send you a report. Saying, "Send me the report," sounds very direct, almost like an order. But if you say, "Could you send me the report?" Or "Would you mind sending me the report?" it sounds much more respectful.
Let's break down some common ones.
The first one is, "Could you?" This is a very common and versatile way to make a polite request. It's softer than "can you?" and often used for asking someone to do something. For example, "Could you send me the report by the end of the day?" Or, "Could you please clarify this point?"
Next, we have would you mind? This is even more polite, and it's followed by the dashing form of the verb. So you would say, "Would you mind sending me the report?" Or, "Would you mind sharing your notes from the meeting?" The answer to "would you mind" is usually no, not at all, if you agree, because yes, I would mind means you don't want to do it.
That's a great point about the response, Emily. It can sometimes confuse learners. Then there's may I and could I. These are used when you are asking for permission to do something. May I leave early today? Or could I ask a quick question? May I is traditionally considered more formal than could I, but both are perfectly polite.
And you can also use phrases like, "I was wondering if you could." This is very indirect and therefore very polite. For instance, "I was wondering if you could help me with this task." It shows consideration and respect for the other person's time and availability.
These small linguistic choices make a huge difference in how your message is received in the workplace. They show professionalism and respect.
That's great news, Brian. High five for being on track. Now, I did receive some feedback from the sales team regarding the product features overview in the brochure. They felt it wasn't clear enough for potential clients. Could you look into that and see if we can simplify the language?
Absolutely, Emily. Thanks for that feedback. I'll connect with the sales team this afternoon and see where we can make improvements. We want to ensure clarity for everyone.
Perfect. And for the website content, I know you've been leading that. Would you mind giving us a quick overview of the progress on the product page and checkout flow?
No, not at all. The product page is 90% complete. We're just waiting on final approval for the technical specifications copy from engineering. The checkout flow has been fully tested and is working smoothly. I was actually thinking, may I suggest we schedule a quick follow-up meeting with the engineering team to finalize that copy?
That's a good proposal, Brian. Let's do that, perhaps tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning works for me. I'll send out a calendar invite.
Great. Now, on the legal side, we're still waiting for sign-off on the terms and conditions. Sarah, from legal, could you give us an update on that?
And cut. That was a really good example, Emily. Listeners, did you notice how Emily used those polite modal verbs to make her requests sound professional and collaborative?
I certainly tried to, Brian. I said, could you look into that? And would you mind giving us a quick overview? It's much softer than look into that or give us an overview.
Exactly. And I also used may I suggest when I offered a solution, which is a polite way to give an opinion or make a recommendation. It shows respect for the project manager's authority while still contributing.
We also naturally used several of our vocabulary words: meeting, agenda, deadline, feedback, follow-up, and proposal. These are words you'll encounter and use daily in a professional English-speaking environment.
Think about how you would ask a colleague for a document or how you would suggest a new idea in a meeting. Using phrases like, could you possibly, or would you be able to, can make a big difference in how you're perceived professionally.
The key is to practice these polite forms until they feel natural. Try to rephrase your direct requests into softer ones. Instead of, send me the report, think, could you please send me the report when you have a moment?
Even small changes like adding please or when you have a moment can make your communication much more effective and help you build stronger professional relationships.
So remember, mastering workplace communication isn't just about knowing the words, it's about using them with the right tone and politeness.
That's right. It builds trust and shows professionalism. We hope this segment gives you the confidence to communicate more effectively in your current or future workplace.
And next, we're going to shift gears from day-to-day communication to something broader: career goals and professional development. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the English podcast for listening and speaking. We've just finished discussing the importance of effective workplace communication. Now let's look beyond the day-to-day interactions and talk about your future.
That's right, Brian. This segment is all about career goals and professional development. It's a huge topic because whether you're just starting out or you've been in your field for years, thinking about your career path and how to grow professionally is incredibly important.
Absolutely. And when you're discussing these topics in English, whether it's in a performance review, a job interview, or a networking event, having the right vocabulary and grammar is crucial. It allows you to express your ambitions clearly and confidently.
Exactly. So let's jump straight into some essential vocabulary related to career goals and professional development. These are words you'll hear and use frequently when talking about advancing in your profession.
First up, a very desirable outcome for many people: promotion. A promotion is the act of raising someone to a higher position or rank. For example, she worked hard and received a promotion to senior manager.
Yes, a promotion often comes with more responsibility and a higher salary, which is always nice. Next, we have training. Training refers to the process of learning the skills and knowledge you need for a particular job or activity. You might say, I'm attending a new training course to improve my project management skills.
That leads us nicely to skills. Your skills are the abilities you have to do something well. These can be technical skills, like coding or data analysis, or soft skills, like communication and problem solving. Developing new skills is essential for career growth.
Very true. And all these elements, your jobs, promotions, and skills, contribute to your career path. Your career path is the progression of your professional life, including the jobs you've held and the directions you plan to take. For instance, my career path has always been focused on digital marketing.
Indeed, it's like mapping out your professional journey. Another vital concept for professional growth, especially in today's interconnected world, is networking. Networking is the activity of meeting and talking to people who might be useful to you in your job, especially in making business connections. You might say, I enjoy attending industry events for networking opportunities.
That's a fantastic way to find new opportunities. An opportunity is a set of circumstances that makes it possible to do something. So a networking opportunity is a chance to meet people and make connections that could help your career. Or, this new project is a great opportunity to showcase my leadership skills.
Speaking of leadership, this refers to the ability to lead a group of people or an organization. People in leadership roles are often responsible for guiding teams and making key decisions. He's taking a leadership development course to prepare for a management position.
And often, when you're thinking about your career, you might seek out mentorship. Mentorship is the guidance and support provided by an experienced person, a mentor, to a less experienced person, a mentee. Having a good mentor can be invaluable for your career development.
Finally, a term that has become increasingly important in recent years, work-life balance. Work-life balance refers to the state of equilibrium in which demands of a person's personal and professional life are equal. It's about finding harmony between your career and your personal well-being. My goal is to achieve a better work-life balance next year.
That's a great set of vocabulary words for this segment, Brian. Now that we have the words, let's talk about how we express our career goals and ambitions. Our grammar focus for this section is future tenses.
Yes, when you're talking about plans, intentions, and predictions for your career, you'll primarily use two future tenses, will and be going to.
Let's start with will. We use will for decisions made at the moment of speaking, or for predictions and promises about the future. For example, if you're in an interview and you decide to mention a goal, you might say, "I will apply for a leadership role next year." This sounds like a strong intention.
Exactly. Will can also be used for general predictions about the future. I believe this new training program will help me acquire advanced data analysis skills. It's a confident statement about a future outcome.
Then we have be going to. This is used for plans and intentions that have already been decided before the moment of speaking, or for predictions based on present evidence.
So if you've already thought about it and made a plan, you'd say, "I'm going to take an online course in management starting next month." The decision is already made. Or, "My manager says I'm performing really well, so I think I'm going to get a promotion soon." That's a prediction based on what you already know.
The key difference is often about how firm or pre-planned the action is. Be going to often implies more pre-planning or a stronger intention based on current circumstances.
Let's combine our vocabulary with these future tenses. Emily, what are some of your career goals for the next year or two? You can share some real or hypothetical ones.
Oh, that's a great question, Brian. Well, for the next year, I'm definitely going to focus on enhancing my digital marketing skills, especially in video content creation. I think that will be a crucial area for our podcast's growth.
That's a smart move, Emily. Video is certainly becoming more and more important. Are you going to take a specific course?
Yes, I actually will sign up for an advanced online course next quarter. It's something I've been researching for a while. And I also will make an effort to attend more industry networking events. I think building more connections will open up new opportunities for collaborations.
That's fantastic. It sounds like you have a clear career path laid out for yourself for the near future. And for me, I'm planning to spend more time on mentorship. I really enjoy helping new team members develop their abilities. I think I'm going to start a small internal program where I can guide junior colleagues.
That's a wonderful idea, Brian. Providing mentorship really embodies leadership. Do you think that will lead to a more formal leadership role for you in the future?
Perhaps. I'm not actively pursuing a specific promotion right now, but I believe that developing my leadership skills through mentorship will naturally create opportunities down the line. I'm also going to prioritize my work-life balance. I feel like I've been working a lot of long hours recently, so I will try to set clearer boundaries.
That's so important, Brian. Achieving a good work-life balance can really boost your overall well-being and productivity. It sounds like both of us have some clear goals for our professional development.
Absolutely. And for our listeners, think about how we expressed our goals. We used will for more spontaneous decisions or confident predictions. and be going to for plans we had already made.
For example, I'm going to take an online course because I've already decided and researched it. Or, I believe it will lead to new opportunities as a prediction about the future.
Try to think about your own career aspirations. Do you want a promotion? Are you going to take any new training courses to develop specific skills? Where do you see your career path heading?
And how are you going to improve your work-life balance? Thinking about these questions and formulating answers in English using the vocabulary and future tenses we've discussed will be excellent practice.
Remember, expressing your career goals clearly and confidently in English is a powerful skill. It shows ambition, forethought, and professionalism.
So, whether you're aiming for a promotion, seeking new training, or just trying to improve your work-life balance, these phrases and grammar points will help you articulate your ambitions effectively.
We hope this segment gives you the language you need to discuss your professional future. Now get ready because our next section is all about useful business English expressions that native speakers use all the time. Welcome back to the English podcast for listening and speaking. We've just finished discussing how to talk about your career goals and professional development. Now, let's dive into something that often makes English sound more natural and professional. Business English expressions.
Oh, I love this section. These are the phrases and idioms that native speakers use all the time in the workplace, and knowing them can really make you sound more fluent and confident. It's not just about knowing individual words, but how they come together.
Exactly, Emily. These expressions add nuance and efficiency to your communication. Our goal here is to introduce some of the most common ones and show you how to use them naturally in various workplace scenarios.
First up, a very common one, touch base.
Touch base means to briefly meet or speak with someone, usually to discuss a matter or update each other. It's often used when you need a quick check-in. For example, let's touch base later this afternoon to discuss the project progress.
Yes, it's less formal than have a meeting and implies a quicker interaction. Another great one is in the loop.
To be in the loop means to be informed about and involved in something, usually a decision or a project. If you're out of the loop, you're not being informed. So you might say, please keep me in the loop regarding any updates on this client proposal.
That's so useful. It means keep me informed. How about think outside the box?
Think outside the box means to think creatively, unconventionally, and from a new perspective, rather than following traditional or common ideas. For instance, we need to think outside the box to solve this complex problem. It encourages innovative solutions.
That's a classic, and it's always good to be ahead of schedule.
Ahead of schedule means completing something earlier than the planned time. This is always good news in the business world. The team worked hard, and we're now ahead of schedule on the new product launch.
The opposite, of course, is behind schedule. Now, another important phrase for teamwork, take the lead.
To take the lead means to take responsibility for organizing or doing something, to be in charge. Who will take the lead on presenting these findings to the management team?
Great. And something every business cares about, the bottom line.
The bottom line refers to the final result or the most important factor in a situation, often financially. It's the ultimate impact or profit. Ultimately, the bottom line is whether this new strategy will increase our sales.
So it's about the core financial result or the crucial point. And finally, for this initial set, on the same page.
To be on the same page means to have the same understanding or to agree about a situation. Before we move forward, let's ensure everyone is on the same page about the project's objectives. It's essential for teamwork to avoid misunderstandings.
Those are excellent expressions, Brian. Now, let's move to our grammar focus for this section, conditional forms for workplace situations. These are incredibly useful for discussing possibilities, hypotheses, and different outcomes in business.
Right. We often use conditional sentences to talk about what might happen, what did happen, and what we wish would happen. In the workplace, they're perfect for discussing scenarios, planning, and problem solving.
Let's review the main conditional types. First, the zero conditional. We use this for general truths or facts. If something happens, something else always happens.
For example, if we miss a deadline, we incur a penalty. This is a regular occurrence, a fact of the business. Or, if the system crashes, we lose data. It's a certain outcome.
Next, the first conditional. This is for real and possible situations in the present or future. If X happens, then Y will happen.
If we finish early, we can start the next project. This is a realistic possibility. Or, if the client approves the proposal, we will proceed with the next phase. This expresses a likely outcome based on a condition.
Then, the second conditional. This is for hypothetical or unlikely situations in the present or future. If X happened, then Y would happen.
If I had more time, I would review the report again. This implies you don't have more time. Or, if we launched the product next month, we would face more competition. This discusses an imagined scenario.
And finally, the third conditional. This is for hypothetical situations in the past, talking about what would have happened if something else had happened.
If we had invested more in marketing, our sales would have been higher last quarter. This expresses regret or an alternative past outcome. Or, if she had sent the email earlier, we wouldn't have missed the deadline.
So we have zero, general truths, first, real possibilities, second, hypothetical, unlikely, and third, hypothetical past. They allow us to discuss different levels of certainty and possibility.
To bring this all together, we're going to do a mini scenario. Emily and I will act out a brainstorming session, and we'll try to naturally integrate these business idioms and conditional forms.
Perfect. Let's imagine we're working on a new marketing campaign for a product. All right, Brian, thanks for joining this quick brainstorming session. I wanted to touch base about the new marketing campaign. We need some fresh ideas to truly connect with our audience.
No problem, Emily. I'm happy to help. I agree our usual approach isn't cutting it. I think we really need to think outside the box on this one.
Exactly. We've been a bit too conservative. My main concern is, if we don't differentiate ourselves, our sales will not improve.
I agree. If we rely on the same old tactics, we will get the same old results. So, what are your initial thoughts?
Well, I've been thinking, what if we launched a viral video series? It would be a big investment, but if it went viral, the exposure would be huge.
That's certainly thinking outside the box. If we decided to go that route, who would take the lead on content creation? We don't have an in-house expert for that.
Good point. If we had had a dedicated video team, we would have started this project months ago. But since we don't, perhaps we could partner with an external agency. If we find the right one, they could produce high-quality content for us.
That's a good idea. If we partner with an agency, we need to make sure they're completely in the loop on our brand values and target audience. We can't afford any missteps.
Absolutely. And the bottom line is, if we want a significant return on investment, we need to take some calculated risks. If this campaign is successful, our market share will definitely increase.
True. I'm thinking about the timeline. If we aim for a launch next quarter, we need to get started on agency selection immediately. We don't want to fall behind schedule. What if we scheduled a meeting with 3 potential agencies by the end of next week?
That sounds feasible. If we can get those meetings booked, we will be ahead of schedule on our initial research phase. Then, once we choose an agency, we need to make sure everyone involved in the campaign is on the same page from day one. Communication will be key.
Definitely. If we're not on the same page, the project will face unnecessary delays. And remember, if we set clear expectations with the agency from the beginning, we will avoid many potential problems down the line.
Perfect. So, to recap our session, our goal is to think outside the box for the new campaign. We're exploring a viral video series, and if we proceed, we'll partner with an external agency. We need to take the lead on finding agencies, and if we work efficiently, we will be ahead of schedule.
And the most important thing is for everyone to be in the loop and on the same page to ensure the bottom line is met. I'll prepare a list of agencies to touch base with.
Sounds great, Brian. This was a really productive session.
And that's how you can weave these expressions and conditional forms into a natural business conversation.
Exactly. You heard us use touch base, think outside the box, in the loop, ahead of schedule, take the lead, the bottom line, and on the same page.
And we also used various conditional sentences. If we don't differentiate ourselves, our sales will not improve. First conditional.
What if we launched a viral video series? It would be a big investment. Second conditional for a hypothetical situation.
If we had a dedicated video team, we would have started this project months ago. Third conditional, for a past missed opportunity.
And the zero conditional. If we miss a deadline, we incur a penalty. Though we didn't explicitly use that one in the scenario, it's a good example for general truths in business.
By practicing with these phrases and understanding how to use conditional forms, you'll be able to express possibilities, plans, and consequences much more clearly and professionally in English.
These expressions are not just slang, they are an integral part of professional communication. The more you hear them and try to use them, the more natural they will become.
Remember, fluency is about living the language, one phrase at a time. Don't be afraid to try using these new expressions in your own conversations.
Yes, and listen for them in business podcasts, TV shows, or during your work meetings. You'll be surprised how often they come up.
We hope this segment gives you a solid foundation in some essential business English expressions and how to use conditional forms effectively.
Now get ready for our next segment, which is going to be a memorable, shareable moment. We're going to have a little fun with some interview scenarios. All right, listeners, get ready for something a little different. We've talked a lot about doing things right in job interviews and workplace communication. But now, for our memorable, shareable moment, we're going to do the opposite.
Oh, Emily, I think I know where this is going. Are we talking about what not to do?
Exactly. Brian, you are going to play a candidate who is, let's just say, not quite prepared for a professional interview. And I'll be the interviewer, trying my best to keep a straight face while subtly correcting your, shall we say, unique responses.
I accept the challenge. I'm ready to embrace my inner worst candidate ever. This is going to be educational, I promise.
It certainly will be. The idea is to highlight common mistakes or things you absolutely should avoid, while also showing you how to phrase things professionally. Think of this as a fun, exaggerated guide to what not to say. Let's begin. So, Mr. Johnson, thank you for coming in today. Let's start with a classic. What would you say are your greatest strengths and weaknesses?
My greatest strength? Oh, that's easy. I'm really good at napping. I can nap anywhere, anytime. It's truly a gift. And my weakness? I guess I get a bit grumpy if I don't get enough sleep because of my amazing napping skills. And sometimes I don't like Mondays, on Tuesdays.
Fascinating, Mr. Johnson. While rest is important in a professional setting, we usually look for strengths like problem solving, teamwork, or strong communication skills. And for weaknesses, it's best to mention something you're actively working to improve. Like, I sometimes struggle with time management, but I'm learning new prioritization techniques. Not hating Tuesdays.
Got it. No napping confessions. Noted.
Next question. Can you describe a time you had a conflict with a colleague and how you resolved it?
Oh, a conflict? Yeah, there was this one time Dave from accounting kept stealing my stapler, so I just, hid all his pens. He never found them. Problem solved. Mostly. He bought a new stapler.
Mr. Johnson, that's a creative approach. However, in a professional environment, we encourage open communication and constructive dialogue. A better answer might be, I once had a disagreement with a colleague about project priorities. I scheduled a meeting to discuss our perspectives, listened actively to their point of view, and we collaboratively found a solution that benefited both our tasks. Hiding pens isn't usually in the HR handbook.
So no office pranks even if they work. Duly noted.
All right, moving on. What are your salary expectations for this position?
Salary? Well, I need enough to buy a really big TV, maybe a new car, and definitely a fancy coffee machine. Oh, and I want to be richer than my cousin Steve, so yeah, a lot. Like, a lot, a lot. As much as you can give me. Plus bonuses every month.
Mr. Johnson, while it's good to have personal goals, salary expectations should be based on industry standards, your experience, and the role's responsibilities. A more professional response would be, based on my research into similar roles and my qualifications, I am looking for a salary in the range of X to Y, and I'm open to discussing the full compensation package. It shows you've done your homework and are reasonable.
So less about the TV and more about market rates. Got it. This is harder than it looks.
Indeed. Last question. Why do you want to work for our company?
Because you have a job opening, and, I need a job. And your office is pretty close to my apartment, so the commute would be easy. Plus, I heard you have free snacks. Are the snacks good?
Mr. Johnson, while convenience and snacks are appealing, a strong answer demonstrates genuine interest in the company's mission, values, or the specific role. You could say, I've been following your company's innovative work in X field for some time, and I'm particularly impressed by your commitment to Y. I believe my skills in Z align perfectly with your company's goals, and I'm eager to contribute to your continued success.
Wow, that sounds a lot better than free snacks. I might actually get hired with that one.
Okay, Emily, that was humbling, but also really funny. My apologies to any recruiters listening. Don't worry, Brian, you were a great bad example. But seriously, why is this kind of exercise useful for our listeners?
Well, first, it highlights that first impressions matter. Your answers, even if they're trying to be humorous or casual, can really sink your chances if they're not professional and well thought out.
Absolutely. It also shows the contrast between a vague, self-centered answer and one that is professional, thoughtful, and demonstrates value. When you answer, you should always be thinking, how does this benefit the company?
Exactly. And it's not just about what to say, but also what not to say. Avoiding those common pitfalls like being too casual, complaining, or focusing purely on your own needs is crucial.
It's about being prepared, doing your research, and understanding the unspoken rules of professional communication. You want to convey confidence, competence, and enthusiasm, not just a desire for a new TV.
So the next time you're preparing for an interview in English, remember Mr. Johnson, and think about how you can turn those worst answers into truly impressive ones.
This memorable moment hopefully sticks with you, and you can even share it with friends who are also practicing their English. It's a fun way to learn and reinforce what good professional communication sounds like. What a journey through the world of English for your professional success. From conquering interviews to navigating office discussions and setting ambitious career goals, we've covered a lot.
Indeed, Emily. And I hope our Mr. Johnson segment gave everyone a good laugh and some valuable lessons on what not to do. It really highlights how important it is to use the right language in professional settings.
Absolutely. Let's quickly recap some of the essential vocabulary and phrases we explored today, because repetition is key to mastery. Think of these as your building blocks for a successful English-speaking career.
First, we talked about job interviews and making that crucial first impression. Remember terms like resume or CV, which is your personal marketing document. And you are the candidate, aiming to show your best qualifications, strengths, and how you've used your experience.
That's right. And then, in the workplace, clear communication is vital. We discussed phrases for meetings, like setting an agenda, giving a presentation, and meeting a deadline. And remember to give and receive feedback constructively, and always aim for collaboration when working with colleagues.
We also touched on expressing polite requests using modal verbs like could you or would you mind? This makes a huge difference in how your messages are received.
And for your career path and professional development, we highlighted words like aiming for a promotion, the importance of training to improve your skills, and building connections through networking. We also mentioned how important it is to consider your work-life balance.
Finally, we dived into some great business English expressions that will make you sound more native and confident. Do you remember to touch base, which means to briefly connect with someone, or to be in the loop, meaning to be kept informed?
And don't forget to think outside the box, which means to be creative and innovative. We also learned to take the lead, meaning to be in charge, and how important it is for everyone to be on the same page, which means to agree and understand each other. These phrases are used constantly in professional environments.
Learning these words and phrases and actively practicing them in context will significantly boost your confidence and effectiveness in any English-speaking professional setting.
And now, we have a little challenge for you, our amazing listeners. We want you to put some of what you've learned into practice. In the comments section below, we invite you to write about your dream job and a sentence about why you want it, all in English. This is a fantastic way to review vocabulary and express your ambitions.
Yes, please share your goals. We love hearing from you and seeing your progress. It helps us understand what topics are most helpful for you.
Before we sign off, a quick reminder. If you found this episode helpful, if you learned something new, or if you simply enjoyed our Worst Interview Answers segment, please take a moment to like this episode, share it with your friends or colleagues, and leave a comment.
Your engagement truly helps YouTube recommend our podcast to more learners like you, allowing more people to improve their English skills for professional success. We are building a community here.
We believe that your career is a journey, and every step you take to improve your English is a step forward. You're not just learning words, you're opening doors to new opportunities and experiences.
So keep practicing, keep speaking, and remember, fluency is about living the language, one phrase at a time. And now, you have more English skills to take the next step on your professional journey.
Thank you so much for joining us on the English Podcast for listening and speaking. We'll be back soon with more engaging conversations to help you master English. Until then, keep learning and keep growing.
Goodbye, everyone, and see you next time.